Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Andrew.
Caitlin.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're here to discuss more articles from the Green Page, which you can find at cmuptm.blogspot.com. And our first article for this second segment of the last podcast ever is from This Tour Life, a blog by Cody Orell, who apparently, I think, after doing a little stalking online, he's a sound guy for Mariah Carey, Beyonce. He's been doing this for a little while. And the article is entitled The Bus Rules. And it's kind of an etiquette article about what it's like to ride on a tour bus for months at a time and the kind of things that you should do to be considerate to your bus mates and the bus driver. And it's
basically common sense, unless you're an idiot, in which case you should read it. But
all the idiots out there right now are like, oh.
Right.
So if you're an idiot,
you.
just Google it.
So the one thing
there was one piece of information that I will remember that seemed valuable, which I wouldn't have thought of, which is that whenever you are sleeping on your tour bus, you should always make sure that your feet are towards the front of the bus, because if the driver has to stop suddenly, then you won't break your neck.
Yes, but what if the driver has to accelerate quickly? Then,
or he has to reverse
yeah,
quickly.
that would.
I mean, listen, if he gets in an accident, like, you're fucked. No matter what.
Dead.
So
Yeah, I like that too. I also like the one that was the piece of advice that was leave your ID card or whatever it is, your like backstage pass.
Yeah.
They hang them on the rear view mirror or whatever when you leave the bus, so that the bus driver always knows before he pulls away from a rest stop or whatever that somebody's out there and they know who it is and everything. That's good.
That's a good point.
So I'm gonna instate that rule on my next road trip for sure.
My favorite part of the article was all the little terms.
Yeah.
Like the little tour bus terms that he used. The junk bunk is like when you're on a tour bus that's not full.
And into the bunk, yeah.
You just throw, everybody throws their crap into a bunk. There's also a term, he tells you definitely don't want to be oil spotted, dude. And that means that the bus leaves without you.
Oil spot. You're
oil spotted.
Dude, you've been oil spotted.
Yeah, I'm not a touring person. I'm never gonna do that with my life. I'm way too old for it.
If Mariah Carey called you, you would say no.
No, thank you, Mariah. I would use her first name.
If she was like, do you want to share a bunk with me?
She would say
Okay, well,
I need you.
maybe for Mariah, but no one else.
She is Cristal all the time.
Yeah.
In
I have been on. I've been on tour
Her
buses.
tour bus looks like
I don't think she probably has a tour bus. She has like
a tour jet.
charter jet.
A tour de force.
Yeah.
You guys get it.
So yeah, if you're ever gonna go on tour, one of my fellow graduating classmates, an undergrad here in the PTM program, is going out on tour with the Marvel something tour.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send this article to him in case he hasn't read it, because
He's ready.
he's ready. And moving right along because there's no reason not to. The next article is from the Creators Project. Which is another technology blog. Is there
It was by Beckett Muffson.
There you go, Beckett Muffson. Thank you very much.
It's called Smell-O-Vision is Back and Possibly the Future of Storytelling.
Possibly.
I guess the headline is saying that Smell-O-Vision is possibly the future of storytelling, but
It's definitely back.
It's
definitely
for sure it's back.
Back.
Well, I don't know about that.
When was
Anyway,
Smell-O-Vision ever a thing before?
Smell-O-Vision was
Aside
a thing
from,
in
Harold and Maude.
right. So Smell-O-Vision was a thing, kind of a gimmick. I think in the 40s and 50s, or maybe
so.
just the 40s. It was
No, it was invented
earlier than that?
No, later. Unless I'm
Really?
yeah, because
You guys are Smell-O-Vision experts?
Unless I'm wrong about this, John Waters has taken credit for it for creating it for polyester, and they called it not Smell-O-Vision. What's the other thing?
Stink-O-Matic.
Oh, it's like that. I'm sorry, there's a word for it, and it'll come to me. Not smell-o-vision, though.
Okay, go on talking.
Anyway,
Stentorama.
Odorama. It's Odorama.
Odorama.
Yeah, he created it and passed out cards to the audience, and they all smelled it, and then it made a comeback with the Rugrats movie in the early 2000s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a sort of a, and it may be. I actually may be right. We may both be right, and that it's like sort of like a B movie kind of gimmick that they used.
Yeah.
That they like pump smells into theaters, and it was like immersive, and it's like actually just totally stupid.
So anyway, though, this article is about a new version of this thing that's called the O phone, which makes smells basically that you can just smell. I mean, it's an Indiegogo campaign kind of thing.
Well, we should say that the article we've derailed a little bit. The article is actually about this exhibition that's up right now at the Museum for the Moving Image in Queens, New York, and it's just like all these different, well, as the article says, each project in the exhibition shows how sight, smell, sound, or touch can and will be used to tell the stories of tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, thinking about how, more than just the visual sense can be engaged in installation and storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So there are works by artists like Chris Milk, Vincent Morissette, the Google Creative Lab has a piece in there.
Google Cube.
Yeah.
You're a media guy. What do you think about all this?
I don't know. It's kind of like, I feel like this technology is kind of in the same place that 3D printing is at right now. It's kind of like, it feels a little gimmicky, it feels kind of gee whiz, and
That's actually the term that they use in the article.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that, which is funny because I use that term all the time.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that a lot of technology is in that place right now. I think that what's really exciting is I don't know. I haven't been to this event, so maybe when you're there, it feels like really
engaging.
Yeah, really engaging and really like. I remember the first time that I had an Oculus Rift experience, and I say it like that because it really is. It's almost like a drug experience or something. It's like you really. When you put the Oculus Rift on and you're like looking around this
Excuse
you
me, stop.
really feel like
Stop. What's the Oculus Rift? I have no idea what that is.
The Oculus Rift?
Really?
Oh, it's a virtual reality headset. So
Okay.
you put it on and it has like these two little screens that kind of with these lenses that refract an image so that it looks kind of 3D, and you can like look around and it responds to the movements of your head so that you're looking around a virtual space. And like my first experience in the Oculus Rift, I was like, holy crap! Like you really feel like you're on that the technology is on the cusp of something crazy, and that our engagement, the way we engage with technology, is just going to radically change really soon as this technology becomes more accessible.
Do you think that then, as this article sort of posits, that our engagement with storytelling then will also necessarily change?
I think it has to.
So my reaction to this, I would just say, is that as the stuff about troglodyte, my reaction to all of this is well, I don't need smells in order to, enjoy a classic play or something like that.
In the same, true, but people used to think that you didn't need sound in the cinema.
Well, maybe you don't. That's the thing.
Well, you didn't then, but sound was an innovation technology that at first seemed perfunctory and didn't feel relevant or important or necessary until someone like Fritz Lang came along and made his movie M, in which sound drove the narrative forward. And I think the reason this technology maybe feels silly or superfluous is because people are still trying to figure out how to use these innovations to tell new kinds of stories. And right now we're kind of telling the old stories just with new things tacked on, but I think there will be a visionary artist that comes along and figures out how to make smell or touch or something else feel completely necessary and indispensable to the storytelling, and those stories will be told because they just will be told eventually.
I think that's the best argument I've heard from you. My favorite term from this article is smelfy. Like the idea that you can take a smellfie of yourself and send that to your friend.
Right.
What was that?
It's Odoo AOK. I'm marketing it. It's coming out.
Is it just your BO and Old Spice? Because that's what I use.
It is Old Spice.
It's liverwurst.
So look out for the O phone in your Apple store of choice in the next 20 years, and everything in your life will change. I promise. Speaking of changing your life, good segue.
Great, you're
Loved it.
you're killing the segue game today.
Our last article for this segment is from the Daily Infographic, which is actually more about the charts than it is about content.
Right.
And it's the new face of study abroad by Just Shelley. She
doesn't need anymore.
Just Shelley.
She used to go by a symbol, but now she goes by Shelley.
The artist formerly known as a symbol.
Yeah, now known as Shelley.
It's a photo of a trowel.
And she's got a bunch of really cool infographic type charts about what's happening to the idea of study abroad in America.
Wait, did Shelley make this?
Oh God, I hope so. I hope those are her charts.
I think she must have. I wasn't sure if she made the charts because there isn't a credit for the infographic itself.
That is true. It's not. Although this blog is about graphic representation of data, so
we're not sure.
I'm gonna give Shelley the credit for this, and some of them are kind of nice.
Why not?
But the underlying data is about the fact that it's actually kind of unclear because.
Yeah.
Her point seems to be that fewer people are taking advantage of the possibilities of education abroad during their college years. And it is true, it seems like it's sort of flattening. If you look at the infographic here, at cmuptm.blogspot.com, you can see that it's sort of shallowed in the past 10 years or so.
Isn't it decreasing? I mean...
Well, no, the number of the number of students doing study abroad is higher than it's ever been. It's just that the percentage of increase from year to year is getting smaller and smaller.
Right.
So between 2002 and 2003, there was like a 9.5% jump in the number of students who decided to study abroad. From 2009 to 2010, it was only 1.25%. However, there's still way many more people, tens of thousands of more people studying abroad today.
270,000 or so.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about it is that it seems to be saying that fewer people are implying that fewer people are taking advantage of this because the rate of growth is slow, but it's no, more people are still going. I don't know.
It's a percentage versus
it is sort of reaching this.
Right.
It seems like it's reaching this plateau where really there's only people of a certain kind of economic stature that can afford to.
Well, and then it does talk about this.
I'm just saying.
No, I know that's what she's trying to get at. It's just this kind of I don't know, these graphics like this that present information in sort of packaged way where I'm supposed to take whatever I'm supposed to take something away from it, but then they don't ever pick apart the data in a way, it's just very unconvincing, I thought, the way that this is.
Well, I don't know that she's trying to convince me of anything though. Is she?
Well,
infographics are very good at that. I think you're absolutely right. The way you present information can be very convincing in its own right if you're not looking out for it.
Right.
One thing that does seem to be true, though, I think undeniably, is that people are waiting more to do this sort of thing. Used to be the junior year was the time in an undergraduate's life, when they thought about going abroad. And now it's more getting pushed off to senior and graduate level studies.
Yeah, or that's increasing also slightly. I mean, you can see the trends of proportions for graduate students and seniors in undergrad versus juniors and younger, and so it's balancing out by a small margin. There tend to be a few more people.
And I didn't know that the UK and Italy are the two most popular destinations for study abroad. Which seems crazy to me, actually, that should still be the case, because clearly China, India, these emerging markets that they point out are growing very quickly in terms of the amount of study abroad applicants that they get.
Yeah, I was surprised that there was so little travel to South America.
I mean, if I was a business student, if I was studying business as an undergrad right now, I know where I'd go. I'd go to China or India. I'd go to some emerging economy. and make contacts, network, whatever. Like that's what's going to drive your career. If you're like a small aside, my cousin actually went to Japan for his for a study abroad and ended up spending 2 years there during college, and just recently went back as like the CEO of a major American company in Japan, mostly because of that effort that he made as a young man, not really knowing what it was going to achieve for him, right? Because I don't think when you decide to do a study abroad, did you guys?
I did, and it's a risk to study abroad because it's
our producer Atitra from Thailand came here.
She's studying abroad
right now.
She's studying us very carefully. I studied abroad. I did. I applied for a fellowship program that was it was like a 5-week thing over the summer, so it wasn't like a semester-long thing, and it was paid for.
And that's the other thing.
That's what I recommend to people who are interested in study abroad. Apply, go to your scholarships advisor at whatever school you're at. Like most schools have one, and talk to them about where you want to go, what opportunities are available, because there are a lot of prestigious scholarships that if you win them, they'll just pay for you to go. And then your school, I got this fancy scholarship because I applied to it, and then
because you're awesome.
Well, but then your school often will cover your travel just because it looks good on them if they have people go to prestigious programs. So don't just I'd say don't just sign up for your stock study abroad program that's an entire semester, because it's gonna be a lot of money, and you're probably it's amazing to travel for a long period of time, but you may get just as much, if not more, out of a focused kind of fellowship or research grant where you're covered basically.
Although I went to a more traditional, I had a more traditional study abroad experience in Vienna for a semester, and it seems like an extra expense.
Vienna, that's in New Jersey, right?
It's lower New Jersey.
Okay.
But what's interesting about that experience is that you think of all the travel costs and all the stuff, and God, it's so expensive. But if you compare the cost of living in some of these places with the cost of tuition there, it actually can be cheaper. It's not like you're paying double tuition.
Wait, Vienna's a cheap place to live?
No. But the area that we were in was cheap. I mean, our dorms were
stable.
I don't even know what that is. I lived in the.
You went to Vienna and you never went to see the Lippens Arms?
Oh, the horses. No, I didn't see the horses. I was busy seeing smaller horses.
They're the worst.
But I think if you're interested in studying abroad, you should look at some free options, and then also just see what the real deal is at school, because it sounds expensive.
And also, now that the euro is crashing, it's a great time.
Perfect time. Opportunistic.
Iceland is perfect time to visit Iceland.
We're gonna send you there.
I'm gonna go there right now and soak in a hot tub while you guys check out the articles we just talked about on cmuptm.blogspot.com. And then we'll be back for our last segment of the year in just a few moments. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.